Hey, and welcome to another episode of Zombies, Man. They freak me out. Please like and subscribe and tell us in the comments section if zombies freak you out or you feel safe in their arms awaiting the cold embrace of death. In his final three zombie films, Romero descends into self parody. And stick with us, folks, because only the dumbest people somehow manage to survive. But before we begin, first, we have to talk about my zombie book, The Thin Line of Life, available on Amazon.com. Corporal David McAllister was nearly finished with college. He had a steady girl and a job lined up after graduation. Life was good. And then a virus broke out in China, turning the locals into cannibals. It spread to Singapore, Tokyo, Mexico City, El Paso, and then Louisville was on lockdown. 15 days to slow the spread. David was called up for active duty again, and the virus was all around him. Please see the link in the comments to buy the book. And I would say for me, the best of the rest is Land of the Dead. Like the antagonist of the movie, the zombie Big Daddy. I like to think was going through kind of like the motions of end stage, late stage capitalism, where like he's punching a clock at a gas station, even though he's dead and the world is ended. And in a way, aren't we all Big Daddy Pete?
I certainly hope not, because I hated his character.
Really? Why's that?
So there is a theme throughout all of six of the Romero movies, which is I think George Romero hates his human characters more and more throughout, and identifies more with the zombies. And I you can see it in as early as Night of the Living Dead, where we see this tragic ending where the humans are the ones who kill Ben. And then just increasingly, it's just sort of like, okay, I hate the characters more and more. And then starting with Land of the Dead, I mean, like we're supposed to just like completely identify with Big Daddy, but the whole time I'm thinking, no, you're a zombie.
Yes.
And like you eat humans to continue existing, but the movie's like, no, they're just looking for their own home. Like, no, they're looking to eat you. Like
Yes.
you're missing that part. They they
Yeah,
they
like
destroyed civilization and they want to eat you.
exactly. And I had this thought on that where like I think this was early 2000s sort of commentary on the Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts where they're trying to say, "Oh, like I think he's trying to have some sort of like oppressed marginalized group uprising." I think that's what he's trying to do. And
Are the zombies the Iraqi civilians? Because that's not a great look.
yeah, like it's that I think that's what he was going for, but it's very muddled and like it's the only explanation I can come up with and thematically through analysis because I look at this and I'm like, but yeah, like they're zombies. You should kill them. And
Yeah.
like there's this line early on in the movie where they roll in like Dead Reckoning, which is this giant super tank, which I'm like I look at that, I'm like, oh, I wish I had that toy on my wall. And they're just mowing down zombies. And this one kid is like, I thought it was going to be a battle. It's a fucking massacre. And I'm just really glad he dies 5 minutes after that.
There are like it's a bit like the Steven Spielberg quote about the book Jaws, where he's like 10 pages in, I was rooting for the shark. Um, because I just did not like the humans.
Hmm.
Um, like I was going through your notes. I was trying to figure out which was my favorite character, and I think by default John Leguizamo, just because he's such a charismatic performer.
Yeah.
Um, but like I think kind of a nadir for the movie for me was when we get introduced to a bunch of our red shirts, where like one by one they're like, I'm named after a matador. I'm Hawaiian, and I'm from Detroit. And I'm like, are this like, is this the setup for like their action figure lines? Where like, here's my one characteristic. It's geography. And I'm like, I'm not necessarily saying that the Romero movies are known for great characterizations, but like in the
No.
original trilogy, I mean, there's still some like very memorable characters that feel human. This time around, they get one note, and it's like, okay, that's them.
I had this thought on that too, because I mean, clearly John Leguizamo is the him and Dennis Hopper are the best actors in it,
Oh,
and like
by
Legos,
20 miles.
yeah, and Leguizamo is my favorite character, but I think that's just because he's the least stupid one, and like the whole movie is kind of built on contrivances, right? But because like early on when they're raiding this shop for booze, and the kid who earlier said, "Oh, I thought it was gonna be a battle, it's a fucking massacre." Cholo was like, "Hey, reach behind that counter and grab those cigars I dropped." And fucking obviously there's a zombie there, clearly, right? And then the kid gets bit and they have to kill the kid. And at first I was like, well, it sounds like he set him up, but I'm like, no, that's just bad writing, right? Like people are doing stupid things to put themselves in danger to advance the plot. And to go more into Cholo, I think Cholo in the first draft was the original main character because he's the best main character. But there's like one too many protagonists in this movie. It should be either Cholo or Riley. But I think from here on out, we should refer to Cholo as Luigi Mario.
I can dig it.
And because like Cholo's like this scumbag you love to hate, and Riley's just like a generic white guy. And Riley has the best idea in the movie, steal the super tank and leave. And but I wonder if in the early 2000s to get $19 million to finance a movie, Romero couldn't put like a non-white actor as the lead. What do you think?
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some truth to that. Because I had no idea that John Leguizamo would become such a reoccurring theme on my guest appearances on your show. Um, but like looking back at it, I mean, like, yeah, around this time, I mean, like they were totally okay with him being like the second in command. But I
Yeah.
don't know of any movie other than like The Pest. I don't think of any movies that he like starred in. I mean, it's like he's the guy you go to for it's like, Juliet's cousin in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily the lead. But what's notable about this, so when we talked about the original trilogy, there's no real movie stars. I mean, like as we pointed out, the biggest name in Dawn of the Dead is the guy who played Keenan's dad on Keenan and Kel. And like occasionally you'll be like, "Oh, cool, Tom Savini's in this one."
I was gonna say Tom
Um,
Savini.
but like there's no real movie stars. So what I thought when I saw this in theaters, I thought it was, kind of cool that they had, John Leguizamo and Dennis Hopper and
Yeah.
then 10,000, that guy actors.
Yeah.
Or it's like Asia Argento, I've heard of her. But like in addition to having some genuine movie stars, the production value on this thing is amazing.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, they turned Pittsburgh into this post-apocalyptic wasteland. It really still stands up.
Yeah.
So it's weird to see one of his movies with like a budget.
Yeah.
Um
It took me three movies to figure out something. And I kept thinking, why in the name of Donkey Kong's bananas does anybody give a fuck about US dollars in after the world ends? Right?
no,
Like, what are your thoughts? Why? I mean, I think I have a theory, but what do you think?
I think it's like they could have done so much more with the tower, by the way.
Mhm.
Because it's such an interesting idea of I think we talked about Mask of the Red Death on the last
Yes.
season. Because there is that vibe of the richest, wealthiest people trying to maintain some order of just status. So I think the reason why they're so committed to the US dollar and they're so committed to this super nice condominium is that they want to hold on to the past, even though the past is long gone.
Oh yeah.
And there's touches of greatness in this movie, like the fact that they have the little, electronic birds, just for that feeling of like, oh, remember birds in a cage.
Remember birds in the cage. Remember order.
Yeah.
Remember safety.
So like the talent is there. It's just not being utilized properly or being focused on. Because as you pointed out, there's way too many protagonists. There's way too many ideas. I think
Yeah.
this was about, I think, 20 years between this and Day of the Dead. So
Mhm.
Romero must have been just filling notebooks with ideas. And then when he finally had a budget, he's like, okay, what if we did all of the ideas?
What if we did everything everywhere all at once?
And everything bagel.
In everything bagel. And I love, and especially in the year of our Lord 2025, I love his critique on late stage capitalism, right? And how you've got these poor people in the street unable to afford insulin, and you've got people in the golden shining tower with robot birds. And and much to your introduction, you had Luigi Mario, played by John Leguizamo, goes to Dennis Hopper, who we shall henceforth refer to as King Bowser. Uh, he is Bowser's henchman. He's his go-to guy. He's the guy that if like, oh, we gotta disappear Pete. Pete's gotta disappear in a box somewhere in the ocean, right? And that's Luigi Mario's job. And so Bowser has told him this whole time, oh, if you just keep cleaning up after my messes, but you'll get a ticket here to the Golden Paradise with just pure white people. And then, surprise, surprise, he was lying the whole time. And that's when Luigi Mario steals the super tank, right? And says, I want $5 million or I'm going to shoot up Pennsylvania, right? Never mind, you can, or not Pittsburgh. Never mind, you could just like take your army and just cut off Bowser's head and kill all the board members, and then you're in charge, right? And why do you think he didn't do that?
Well, it kind of goes to another point that I'd critique of this movie. I don't think the antagonists were fleshed out enough. There's too many protagonists, and the antagonists are just unfocused. Dennis Hopper's just pure evil.
Yeah. And that, he did kind of give the inspirational line, which he improv, which was zombies, man, they freak me out, which was great.
While picking his nose.
While picking his nose. My favorite scene in this movie is at the end, whereas Bowser is evacuating the castle. One of the other board members sees him with the bag of money and says, "What's in the bag?" And he says, "Money." And then the board member says, "Whose money?" And then Bowser says, "Watch out, get down quick," and pushes the guy down and just pops him in the head with a gun, right? Which was completely improvised by Bowser.
Dennis Hopper must have had fun with this.
Oh man. So my final thoughts of this is like you know how in the 90s Simpsons there's four separate segments of a McBain movie? If there
Of
was
course.
if yeah, if anyone's gonna know it's you. If there was a Romero parody that they did, but the live action version of that, it would be this, right? Because this movie reminds me of a line from The Simpsons where after the dome goes over Springfield in the movie, and someone says, "We're trapped like rats." And then the bad guy says, "Rats aren't trapped this easily. You're more trapped like carrots."